Triangle Tennis Podcast with your hosts, Matt and Zach here. We've got a special episode, as most of you, we'll see what time this episode comes out, but most of the bumps came out last night or today, December 3rd. So we're going to be talking about who got bumped, what that means, what the implications are, and just talk about that today.
I am so excited, Matt, to get into these bumps. And look, there's a little gamesmanship happening. There's already talk of a few
Oh
folks
yeah.
appealing down, some successfully, some TB. Much to
Yeah.
discuss. Major spring
Yeah.
season implications and also summer singles implications, but really spring is the
Spring
one that I
thing.
think we're all
Yeah.
here to
Yeah.
talk about.
Spring. Yeah.
But before we give people the good stuff, Matt, why don't we get into some plugs because it's the bump episode, so we know they're going to be listening.
Oh, sure. Am I going
Okay.
first? You go
Take
first. You go first. Yours is good.
You know what? If you insist.
Okay.
Here's what I want to plug today. Enocta, our beloved community tennis association, helmed by Chris Moffitt and Barb
Mm-hmm.
Butterworth. Fantastic people, fantastic organization. We need an Enocta sanctioned tournament, and I don't know what we can do to help make that happen. I don't know what needs to happen, but I know I am all in on that idea. And at minimum, if they were to have an Enocta tournament, would prioritize scheduling that because I just think it's such a great group. And I would say for any of our listeners who are not in the Eno CTA, Enocta area, same is true for your local CTA. They're important, they're doing great work, and I think that everyone should be getting involved and doing, whenever possible, participating in programs they're putting on. I know that one of our longtime listeners, Michael Young, helps out as a coach for the Tri Tennis program through Enocta and things like that. They add up and they're good. They're a great community thing, and we try to promote good doodliness on this podcast. So stay involved with that CTA, and let's see if we can get an Enocta tournament in 2025.
Sanctioned tournament. Sanctioned tournament.
Sanctioned. Hey, I could live with unsanctioned, but sanctioned's even better.
They do have unsanctioned tournaments.
Even better.
Yeah, they have. They have a spring one. I think they have two
Oh.
or three. They're just not sanctioned. Yeah.
Oh, this is a layered plug. So we're specifically plugging the sanctioned tournament, but we're
Mm-hmm.
also subtly plugging they have unsanctioned tournaments to also check out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So on that as well, if you are interested in getting some of these things promoted that you hear on the podcast, as well as maybe more people saying Inocta instead of, I don't even know how they would pronounce it if you don't pronounce it Inocta. I don't even know anymore. If you are interested in that, you should vote for Zach. Voting starts December 8th. He is running for a seat on the Inocta CTA. Zach, will you stand right here and commit that you will, if you are nominated to the board, will you change the pronunciation to Inocta?
You know what? I am going to say Enocta until somebody says, please stop doing that. You're undermining our mission. From a branding perspective, I think it's more fun to say Enocta than Eno CTA. But I
Yeah.
will tell you this much. If I am lucky enough to get that position, going to be doing a whole lot of talking about public clay courts and things of that nature. I got to say, though, no matter who gets picked, it's a fantastic roster. There are two other folks that are in the running for it, both of whom would be great. So, like, it's a win. And I think whoever it's going to be is going to do a great job. And I feel very lucky to be part of a tennis community where there's so many folks looking to get involved.
Mm-hmm. So make sure you have to be a Enocta member to vote. So I put the link in the chats. So if you're like, wait, what happened? How do I vote? Look in the chat or just message. So make sure you get registered to vote, just like you do for any other election. Register to vote, and then you can vote.
I am not going to make a stop the steal joke right now. I'm not going to do it. I'm not gonna... If the absentee ballots come in and they show me up, I'll tell you this much. Stop the count.
Let's see. One other quick plug. For those of you who are lefties out there, there's rumors of an all lefty Frozen Assets, which is an Enocta winter post Frosty Doubles winter league. So if you're left-handed and you're interested in playing on a lefty team, you should reach out and let's see if we can get a all lefty team.
I really hope to see that. And I know that
Yeah.
a few of our listeners, Chris Mansfield, lefty Mark sure. There's some very solid lefties in the mix. I believe that you said the team name would be the Leftists, right?
I think I'd have to talk to the team, but the leftist is definitely up there as one of the top contenders. Left Behind, yeah, that was another good
Left
one.
behind, yeah. Out of left field.
Oh, that's really good, man. I'm
Left,
sure we go ahead.
left side, strong side. Little Remember the Titans.
Oh, that is, man. There's so many good options. I don't. We'll have to take a vote. I don't know.
I guess if there's an all right-handed team, it's less name worthy, but I guess you could be like, there's stuff you could do with that too. Right on time.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Write in if you have ideas on
Oh,
handed-based team
nice.
names. Thank you.
Yeah.
With that,
Puns aren't
Matt,
my specialty. Yeah, let's move on from puns.
pun master Evan P. We'll have to have him on at some point to take it away there.
Yeah.
Should we get into it? Who got
Yeah,
bumped?
yeah. Who got bumped? Go start us out.
Okay, number one, my guy, my buddy, Mark, Lefty Mark, sure shot,
Lefty.
sure. Marky Mark in the hunky
Yeah.
bunch, a guy who has been putting the work in early in the morning, who's taking lessons, who's been hustling, and is an exemplar of good dudeliness, got the
Mm-hmm.
bump. And I got to tell you, it makes me very happy. It was
Mm-hmm.
cool to see. Anyone who's seen Mark play know he's got a huge serve. He's got one of the meanest inside-out forehands that you'll see. Quintessential good doubles partner on the courts. Really cool. Good for Mark. And I think he's going to do some damage at 4-0 next year.
Yeah, I know he has been I've been reserving courts for him at 6:30 in the morning. That's crazy.
Jeez Louise. And doing all of
Yeah.
this as a recent second-time father.
Yeah.
Two young kids,
It's
inspiration
wild.
for anybody who's got young
Mhm.
kids or is looking to have kids. You
Yeah.
can find balance still as a young parent.
Yeah, that's fine. We've got one of the all-time great 3-5s, doubles
Oh, yeah.
all-time greats. Stephen Holmes is finally moving up. It took so many years. I can't believe it took so long, but he'll be moving up to 4-0 now.
That's the biggest
exciting.
surprise out of this, right? Is that I can't believe that he was still a 3-5. I just assumed
Yeah.
that Steven was a 4-0 and then several times we played each other.
And I think it's because his doubles is his specialty. So
Mm.
the easiest path to getting moved up is winning a lot of spring singles matches. So he's just such a good doubles player that he would just play doubles.
You know what, Matt? That's actually really interesting. So for our listeners that aren't familiar, can you talk a little bit about what we know goes into who gets bumped and how that works?
I can talk a little bit, but Max will fact check us. My understanding is generally spring has the most weight, with singles being a heavier weight, which if you think about it makes sense. It's a one-on-one matchup, so if you beat that person, that's going to have a heavier weight on your ratings. Doubles doesn't have as much, and then I think spring's weighted a little bit more, but that's just hearsay. So we'll get fact checked from Max, and he can fill in the blanks from there, but that's about as much as I know.
I do think it's important to mention that it is somewhat proprietary how this works. It's based on, to some extent, number of players in your region, I think. Max will fact check this too. And I know this because Tennis Record, which does its darndest to predict who's going to get bumped and who doesn't, didn't get it 100% by any stretch.
Yeah. It's tough if you're trying to guess at that. You don't know what factors go into that.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so we've got next. Mike P got the bump.
The backhand,
yeah.
a fellow one-y guy.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, another great guy with great hair as well.
I think I would be remiss if I didn't mention that this is surprising to all of no one except for maybe Mike P himself. He won a level 4 tournament in Charlotte, his hometown, where he was rolling everybody until the finals, where he had a pretty epic comeback. If you win an L4 tournament, you're probably in singles, you're probably getting bumped, because that's in theory like one of the highest levels, if not the highest level of tournament play that you get in state.
Do tournaments count? I remember we had that conversation about Hereford, and that's why he doesn't play USTA.
Tournaments have a weird, so you can get a tournament only rating.
Yeah.
I think I don't believe that was the reason they got Mike bumped, but I believe that the level of play that he showed at that tournament is consistent with the ability of somebody who should, and deservedly so, would get bumped, which he did.
Yeah, good for him.
Fellow great hairline guy, too.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
You and him just make the rest of us look bald, even when we're not.
Exactly.
Sort of. Yeah.
Another 3-5 legend. This guy has been tearing up 3-5 since I was at 3-5. Barry Gooch finally getting the bump to 4-0. I feel like that should have happened a couple years ago as well.
Agreed. Another one where I'm like, oh wait, like I don't think I realized that he wasn't a 4-0 yet.
Yeah.
Deservedly hearing reports of a very saucy 40+ 4-0 team coming together out of the CTA and Inacta. And I would love to see that. I would actually, if I could, I would get a fake ID to play on this team that might happen, because it just seems like there's a great crew that could be coming together here.
I would absolutely do that. I would absolutely get a fake ID to play 40+. Totally worth it.
Realistically, would you use the same name and then just continue to play 18+ while you're lying about your age, or would you have an alter ego that you would use to play 40+?
When I played righty, I did have an alter ego for UTR and other stuff. I just put in, I forget what I named. I think I just put Righty Matt or something. I had a totally different name. Yeah, I did create an alter ego. So I'm not above that. I've done that before.
I actually think that would be fun if you were allowed to have a second kind of stage persona for playing with your offhand.
Yeah. Yeah, they do frown upon that, but I didn't do it for USTA because you could actually get in trouble for that. But yeah, what are you gonna do? But congrats, Barry. Long time. Glad to see you get the bump.
A fellow
Well
Banana
deserved.
Open winner.
Oh, nice.
This next guy, young guy, very
Mm-hmm.
talented, clearly
Mm-hmm.
on the ascent. Good on him for getting the bump. Ari Farber,
Mm-hmm.
who got the better of me in a combo match a
Yeah.
couple weeks ago with you, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
In that match, I get it. I saw why. He was, for
Yeah.
long stretches, the best player on the court. Really solid game. Good serve.
Mm-hmm.
Your
Yeah.
classic game, a classic American game. Good serve, good
Mm-hmm.
forehand. Tall guy, pretty good at the net. What do you
Yeah.
have to say about Ari's game?
Yeah, no, I've seen a lot of improvement. I know he's been out there taking lessons and working on it, and his volleys have gotten a lot better. Ground strokes, he can hit those pretty hard, and his serve, obviously, which was great for our doubles game. And he's
You'll
been
notice
working
a
at it.
theme, by the way. A lot
Mhm.
of the guys that are getting bumped are taking lessons, right?
Yeah,
Because
that's true.
if you want to get better at something, just going out there and whacking a ball, it's
Mhm.
nice, but it's a lot easier if you got a coach. It shows, and I don't think it also shows a level of commitment to
Mhm.
improving that leads to these kinds of results.
Mm-hmm. What's the percentage of these bumps that have swing vision? I wonder what that is.
I hope for folks that have gotten bumped and want to stay at the level that they're at, that it goes up, right?
Yeah.
Because you're gonna look. My first year in 4-5, I took a lot of lumps last year. Even
Mhm.
more so when I made an effort at 5-0. I'm so glad that I recorded some of those matches. Some of them were painful to watch back, but
Mhm.
you've got to be realistic with yourself. And so I think of these, at least a couple swing vision havers.
Yeah, I'd say at least 4 or 5. So
Yeah.
that's good. Oh, another guy, Christopher Green. How long has he been playing? I know not like forever, but how long has he been in the crew? I feel like he's one of the original.
Christopher Green, I think, is a day one guy. He
That's what I
also
thought.
he came back from a pretty tough injury, so he's
Oh.
always had the game. His strokes are so clean, fantastic athlete, in
Yeah.
great shape, and it's been really cool to see him recover from a pretty tough injury and
Yeah.
really go to the next level. I thought he was going to get bumped last year. I think again when you're looking at themes as well, a lot of these guys were right on the bump bubble in 2023, and so it's cool to see them make that jump because it's a cool thing to see. And also, shout out to Christopher Green, recent father.
Another,
Recent
father, yeah.
Matt, do you think that his recently acquired dad strength is the thing that put him over the top?
No. I don't think that I don't think sleep deprivation helps.
Yeah, having a kid under the age of 1, it's tough to view that as anything other than in terms of tennis improvement, a challenge to be managed. Yeah.
Like you just can't expect to get better. Like your only hope is to not get worse.
And you know what? Kudos, he did
it. He stayed at his level.
This next guy, Dr. Ben Redman.
Yeah.
Beautiful game.
Yeah.
He's got, I would say, unquestionably had the best serve and volley game of any 3-5 I've ever seen, and not particularly close. And I think day one he's going to have one of the best serve and volley games at 4-0. I think Stewart, who we'll talk about a little bit later on, is still number 1 for me at 4-0. But Ben, who was his partner in the Durham Retro Racket Classic, is pretty darn close.
Yeah, and another fellow Hoosier. So love to see that. I'm hoping he's going to be on my hybrid Chapel Hill Tennis Club team, so hopefully we'll get to play some doubles.
Matt,
so
I'm hearing reports that Indiana is a football school. Would you care to comment?
That's true. Our basketball team is awful. Woodson needs to be fired, and that's all there is to it.
Who do you want to replace him?
Anyone will do.
Maybe Yogi Ferrell could come.
Yogi Ferrell would be great. Can we just hire the football coach? He seems really good at winning. So.
If Yogi Ferrell became the coach of the Indiana basketball team, would you have to take the day off work to celebrate?
I think I would. Yeah,
that would be a big day.
That would be I don't know if I want him to, because if it doesn't go well, then I would not. Then I would hate Yogi, and I don't think it's worth it. I don't
think you'd hate Yogi. I think you'd just be ready to move on from Yogi.
I don't want to move on from Yogi.
There we go. We'll find out. Stay tuned for Indiana updates as well.
Yeah.
Last person on our Bump to 4-0 list. And by the way, if we missed somebody, forgive us. USTA's website has been crashing all day, so we've mostly compiled this list through word of mouth and text messages that we've gotten from buds. Matt, who is our last person we're going to talk about who got bumped to 4-0 this year?
It's Eduardo. I don't know how to pronounce his last. Schlottenhauser? I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
So,
but Ed.
Give it to us one more time.
Schlottenhauser?
I think it's Schlotterhausen. That's a pretty fun last name to say.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh no.
That's a lot of letters. That's even longer than my
That's a
last name.
lot. Yeah.
What's his game
Actually,
like?
Ed is a really good 3-5 doubles player. I don't know how he must have maybe lost 1 or 2 matches last year. Really good hands, hits big, great at the net. I think he's got a pretty good serve. It's been over a year since I played with him because I played with him before I got hurt.
Yeah.
But a really good dude. I think he actually might have even appealed down, so this makes sense. So this makes sense for him to be up to 4-0 at this point.
This is one of my favorite things about the bump episode, which is this is the first time that we've done this. Is we're recording this on a Tuesday, the day that these rankings have come out. This episode's gonna come out on a Thursday. 2 days later, some of these folks that got bumped might be getting bumped right back if they're playing the game. Which, hey, that's a big part of USTA. If you appeal down and gets approved, that's how that works.
Yeah. Yeah. I was telling I really should appeal down, but I really want to play 5-0.
I think if you have an injury, I don't think it's unreasonable to appeal down for a season. For me, I would prefer not to because I am comfortable getting my ass kicked pretty regularly. It's not great for the psyche, but it's livable. But everybody's different norms, different standards.
Yeah, I just have to play 5-0 for reasons that folks know, so it just has to happen. So
we're gonna
that's
just because
happen.
our team technically went.
I don't want to
defeated,
win. I just want to play.
Did we get a single line last year? Did we get a single line?
No.
This year we're getting a line. Mark my words.
Yeah.
Quote me. Fact check me. Double mortgage your parents' house in secret. Team Hanauer is getting one line win at 5-0 in 2025 for sure. Count it.
It might be possible. We actually have a 5-0 on the team, so
there were that definitely helps.
Yeah.
Can we get an NIL thing going and recruit like Loic or Andres or somebody?
To get our one win. Yeah.
Really quickly, speaking of both Loic and Andres, shout out to Andres Caro. Ankle is basically as good as new. Physical therapist extraordinaire. Also, shout out to Loic. He was playing in a Raleigh Pro League match and was warming up at East End, and I get the chance to just rally with him for 5 minutes to help him get loose.
Oh, cool.
It was like that was like being a little kid and still believing in Santa Claus. It was so cool to get to hit with him. His level is unbelievable. He's so smooth. He's so good. He's an amazing coach, and he is an equally as good player, and it was really fun to just get to hit a ball with him for a little bit.
Yeah, that's fun when you get to hit. I got to hit with one of the NCCU top guys one time, and that was really fun.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What was it like?
It was the exact same experience you had. It was just so much fun, and you hit well when you hit with them.
Yeah,
they usually I had a fun time. Like I'll miss them obviously, but I felt like I was hitting really well when they were probably bored out of their mind, be like, "What the fuck is this?" But I felt like I was just playing out of my mind.
Yeah. Okay.
All right,
it's time for the 4-5s.
Yeah, no secret here. Parv. I'm surprised he didn't get a mid-season bump. I think he was really annihilating people.
So I believe that Parv was a 4-0S in fall of 2023, and I think that he was a high level 4-0 at that point. But I think maybe a reasonable-ish self-designation. By the end of this past season, it was not reasonable anymore. like he's another guy who plays so often and is such a good teammate and doubles partner, and he's got a game where he plays well with everybody. He's a lefty. He's got huge spin. He's got a flat serve. He's the slice serve, which is so nasty. He's a lefty. He could be on your all-lefty team. It started out reasonable 4-0S, ended with people being like, I cannot believe this guy's at 4-0. He's that good. And you know what? Appropriate bump to 4-5. Congratulations to Parv. And I'm looking forward to seeing him on the courts, both as a friend and as an opponent, hopefully.
Yeah, I can't wait to play with and against him because he joined right when I got hurt, so I've never really gotten to play with him. I did the other day, I should say, but not very. I don't get to play
I'd love to see
often.
you guys play together because you guys, I think, have very complimentary lefty games.
Maybe in the all-lefty team, you'll get to see it.
Maybe. All right, who we got next?
They got next is Tyler Carroll. He's been tearing up.
At least one appeal has already been approved, and so congrats on getting the bump, Tyler. Congrats on getting bumped back down. You were going to be one half of the most vicious combo lineup in the triangle next year, almost for sure.
Okay. All right. Congrats for your bump down.
Double congrats are in order to Mr. Carroll.
Okay. All right. I guess he's not going to be on our 5-0 team.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah. All right. Ezra, is he still a 4-5? I don't know anymore. Things are happening so fast.
I think he is.
I don't know.
This is the problem with anybody who gets bumped to 4-5 and appeals down. It means you can't be on the bad news Bears 5-0 team that we're trying to do.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
again is
Okay.
going to get a line win next season. Just want to guarantee that one more time.
Yeah, be
Ezra,
exciting.
his put away volleys, I think they're
Yeah.
so distinct because he's got so much power, but he's also got so much finesse. It'll be this silly angle, but the ball will go 45
Mhm.
feet in the air after it hits the ground. I
Yeah.
don't really think anybody else hits volleys like that, except for maybe Josh Lumberg that I've seen in the triangle.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, no, his put away volleys are the best. And then him and Tyler together
Yeah.
obviously are one of the best duos.
For whatever reason, it seems like they are also just even more lights out indoors. I think it's because
That makes sense. They both
they
hit hard.
It's a
And
fast
flat. Yeah.
surface. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who we got?
That makes perfect sense to me. Oh, we've got Billy Clark, who had a extraordinary season, cleaning up everyone he ran across in doubles.
Billy
At least.
Clark, 4-5 Smash Cancer doubles winner with Spencer Llewellyn against Daniel Marchek, director of marketing, and I.
Mhm.
Billy can play. He's a tall guy. He's got a huge kick serve,
Yeah.
which somehow always finds its way to your backhand if you're playing him. It's really
Mhm.
tough to beat Billy.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
runs around his backhand as much as anybody I've ever played as well. And he's a pretty good mover, especially for a tall guy. And he
Yeah.
played a summer singles match, I think. And I tried to think, like, when's the last time I made him hit a backhand? It's like, I don't know, 3 games ago?
Yeah, he does not he wants to hit forehands. Yeah, he's everyone who's played doubles with him has always enjoyed it. It's always a good time. I'm undefeated doubles with him. It's been a while since we've played, but he's just a great partner to play with because one, he's a good guy, and then two, he just puts everything away and he's so tall.
Next guy we got on our list, Kwame Owens. According to Tennis Record, he was one of the biggest locks to get bumped. And I don't have his record in front of me, but his win percentage was outrageous. And anyone who's been on the court with him knows why. He doesn't miss very much. He moves really well. Great angles.
Yeah.
His serve is not 115 miles an hour like Ryan Seiko's, but it's got good pace and he places it well. He just can do everything that you need to do on a tennis court at a high level.
And he doesn't expend a lot of energy either. He does it without expending a ton of energy, whereas I might go out there and I'll be like on my knees begging for air.
He's got a really smooth game. The one time we played singles against each other was in a tournament in Raleigh, and in a 2-set match, I was cramping up by the end of it. I was trying to hide it. Yeah. He can play.
Yeah.
Okay. Up next. I don't know this next guy's game very much. Andrew Lopez.
I've never seen him play.
I've been on courts near Andrew. I have not played him yet, but from what I've seen, he has a huge topspin forehand with a really strong motion. His windup is, you can tell he's about to hit it hard before he hits it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really good player. I don't know much beyond that, but congrats to Andrew. I hope to see him on a court sometime. And for those of y'all listening that know his game, spread the word. Congrats on Andrew getting bumped.
Yeah.
He's the next one we definitely know.
Sounds good. Yeah, I've never actually played him, but I know Brett and I've seen him play.
Do you have 6 hours? Because that's how long it would take for the two of you guys to play a match.
I saw him play a version of him who was like 15 years older. It was so weird. It was like a mirror image of him. They were hitting the exact same shots to each other, and it did take 2.5 hours.
I have been personally victimized by Brett Compton at the Carry. I think it was the Summer Sizzle. And by the end of that match, I thought maybe I was going to die, and I thought maybe I'd be okay with that. I was so tired. He will. I call it getting Brett Compton. He will run you into the ground, and he's not going to hit you off the court, but he's got good pace, and he keeps it deep, and he just doesn't get tired. I don't know if he's a marathon runner in his free time, but I get strong. I could run a marathon vibes from Brett. Doesn't miss much, great angles, and a sneaky good net game as well.
Yeah. Cool. Oh, Chris Henderson. I haven't seen that guy in a while. Good for you, Chris.
Henderson, another lefty for the Frozen Assets.
Oh, another lefty.
And also my former camp counselor at UNC Tennis Camp back in the day.
Oh, nice.
Chris can play. Chris, he's got a big lefty serve. I would say he's like a lefty Billy. If Billy, instead of hitting a kick serve, hit a more of a flat and slice serve. Very similar games.
Yeah, good hands at the net. Yeah, I haven't seen Chris in a while, but good for him.
These last two, I haven't played either. I can't say I know their games, but tell us a little bit, Matt. Maybe
I know Dan.
Dan.
Dan Gallo. He's very similar to Brett.
Yeah.
Brett's game. Dan is in very good shape. Really improved his game. he actually didn't really like playing doubles, and I made him play doubles. I forget why. I mean, he had a great time. Yeah, he had a
That's
blast.
great.
He played with John Cannon, and they had a great time.
Expanding his horizons, expanding our horizons.
Yeah,
Matt, that's good
yeah.
captaining right there.
So
Good stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Lastly but not
I
leastly,
don't know Miguel.
I
I do
don't
not
know
know Miguel.
Miguel yet, but I hope to because he just got bumped to 4-5 and must be a very good tennis player as a result of that. Miguel,
Yeah,
congrats. That's our 4-0 and our 4-5 list of folks who did get
yeah.
bumped, although they might get bumped down should they appeal. And so now, Matt, I want to ask you a couple follow-up questions. Of
Oh,
all the players that you know of in the triangle, who do you think took the biggest leap in 2024?
man, I think it's someone who didn't get bumped. Who probably should have. I think it's Mike Westlander.
Oh, that's a good pick.
I just think, yeah, he's just. I remember playing him a long time ago, and he's just so much better than when I played him in a 3-5 match, or maybe it was a 4-0 match. I forget. And he's just gotten so much better since then.
Yeah.
It's
He's one
unbelievable.
of those guys that he's got this huge flat serve, a really nice,
Hmm.
beautiful motion kick serve. And so I think because he generates so much pace and so much spin, people look at him and they think, oh, wow, like his serve must be his strength. And it is. But to me, his
Hmm.
return game is the thing that really separates him and then makes me think he's going to get bumped next year. Because every time I play him, I feel like I'm on the defensive on my serve almost every single point. And there just aren't that many guys that can see the ball and make as clean contact with pace and
Hmm.
accuracy on return of serve the
Hmm.
way that he does. I think you're right.
Hmm.
He's somebody who got bumped from 3-5 to 4-0 last year and was winning at a
Hmm.
good clip and
Yeah.
right on that bubble. So I think that's a good pick. For me, of all the players who made the biggest jump, I think it's got to be Parv for me. I think it's got to be
Hmm.
Parv. Yeah, because Parv
Hmm.
again, like I the first time I saw him play, I was like, okay, this is a very good 4-0. And the last few times I
Hmm.
played with him, I cannot believe that you haven't gotten enough complaints to get bumped up because he's
Hmm.
that good. Always been very good,
Yeah.
getting better. He's a guy who's playing enough that you'd expect
Yeah.
improvement, but he's really making the most that time, and I'd say has gotten even better than you'd expect with the amount that he plays. So the
Hmm. I never got to see him like when he first started, so I've only seen him play recently. So I don't have where Mike Westlander. I have that before and
Yeah,
after
yeah.
kind of view.
Look, he's like you. He's a lefty with the one-handed backhand. There's just not that
Hmm.
many of those. He's got a compact serve motion, pretty low toss, generates a ton of pace, and can generate a ton of spin. Not much you can do. And then he's got a massive forehand. And then he's
Yeah.
got the volleys they call par volleys, which
Yeah.
goes over the net by about 2 inches. Just absolutely vicious droppers and angles.
Yeah. Drop shots.
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Which player? This is a silly one. Who do you think was the most surprised to get bumped?
Oh, it sounded like
Yeah.
Mike P. I don't think he was expecting
The
it.
chat was jumping about that earlier today. So
Yeah.
I don't think that anybody who saw him play is surprised. I think that he maybe was
Yeah.
pleasantly surprised
Yeah.
by that. I don't think that anybody on this list should be though, because they pretty much all have the results to
Mhm.
back it up. I think not pretty much. They
Mhm.
do all have the results to back it up. I talked
Mhm.
to lefty Mark Sure about this a couple times, and he was not super confident that he was gonna get bumped. But anyone who's seen him play, like with Mike P, I think
Mhm.
expected him very much to. He is one of the toughest
Mhm.
doubles players in the triangle,
Mhm.
and getting better every day.
Yeah. If you play a lot of doubles, it takes a little bit longer to get bumped. And I think that's why I know Ezra and
Yeah.
Kwame, like I know they play mostly
Mm,
doubles, if I'm not mistaken, or at least when I was playing more. The same with Billy. Those guys play more doubles than
yeah.
singles, so sometimes it takes a while to work
Yeah.
your way up if that's what you're doing.
So, want to talk a little bit also briefly about tennis record. It in terms of players that did get bumped, it was an okay predictor. Not 100%. At a decent clip it got right who was going to get bumped up. The thing that I noticed where it was terrible was players who were going to get bumped down. It was wrong about a half dozen people going from 4-5 to 4-0, and I don't really know
Mhm.
of many that it got right. And so
Yeah.
maybe that's because there are players where it thought, hey, this is someone who might get bumped down, but then USTA, knowing there's going to be appeals down, chose not to do that. I can't explain it
Yeah.
other than it got some players wrong. And also, there were some tennis record scores for players that I thought was going to get bumped down that just didn't quite pass the smell test to me. So it's a
Mhm.
useful tool to figure out, I think, the rough range you're in. So if you're someone
Mhm.
like Guami and it's got you at a 4.26 when you're a 4.0, yeah, you're getting
Mhm.
bumped. But if it's got you at a
Mhm.
4.03 as a 4.0 or a 3.97 as a 4.5, it really could go either way.
Mhm. Yeah. Tennis Record is just a free platform that someone put together.
So I think it's part of why the website is super duper slow.
Yeah, like you can't. That's what you get when it's free. If you
Yeah.
expect it to be 100%
What's
accurate, then you should probably pay
what's the
some
saying
money.
though? If the product is free, you're the product. I don't know what kind of data they're getting, but they're getting an awful lot out of me because
I
I
think
spent a
it.
ton of time on it.
Oh, I don't know what they're. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe they're getting stuff from you. I think somebody just built it and thought it
Yeah.
was fun, and then
I got
it.
one more thing I want us to talk about before we get into bump picks for 2025, and that's
Mhm.
there's talk of a CHTC 40 plus team ready for another national
Yeah.
championship run. It looks like they've got the guys to do it, and there's a few other East
Yeah.
End boys out there who would be eligible. That if those guys would
Mhm.
combine forces, I would not want to see
Yeah.
in a 4-0 40 plus match.
Yeah, I was looking at the chat and everyone got bumped, and then slowly everyone kept putting screenshots of appeal down success. Then there was pressure for other people who hadn't done it to do it, and then
Yeah,
everyone did it, and yeah, everyone got bumped down on the auto bid. They didn't even have
I
to
mean,
wait.
look, there are some really good players out of CHTC. There's some really good 40 plus
Yeah.
players in the Triangle broadly. It would be really cool to see another team make that national championship run, and I think this time they could get over the hump and make it happen. So
Yeah.
the players are there. Let's see if they can come
Yeah.
together to make it happen, and maybe hopefully a few Easton boys could be part of that too.
Yeah, I'll keep folks updated if I hear anything.
Now, Matt, let's get into bump picks for
Mhm.
2025. Give us a couple that
Mhm.
you think are likely to get bumped to 4-0 and tell us why.
Yeah, David Neenan. I'm surprised. Maybe he just didn't play enough matches, but yeah, he's playing really well in the matches that I've heard him when he's talking about some of the matches he's played against some guys. He's been really
Yeah.
close. So I think that's just more of a volume thing for him. I think he'll just needs to play a few more
I
official
think he
matches.
also plays a decent amount of singles too, and so I think that's a really good
Hmm.
pick. I was
Yeah.
surprised to see he didn't get bumped.
Mhm.
Another person based on tennis record that I thought was going to get bumped, and I believe will next year, is Mr. 5-0 with a wooden racket himself,
Mhm.
longtime listener of the pod, Michael Young, the mayor of
Yeah.
East End. I think I thought over the line, and
Yeah.
I thought he was going to get bumped. I think it's going to happen next year,
Yeah.
especially. And one of the things we haven't talked about, if you play up in particular, the
That
likelihood of getting
helps.
bumped goes up
Yes.
quite a bit. And I think Michael, I believe, will play some 4-0 matches. I think he's going to get
Mhm.
plenty of wins at 4-0.
Mhm.
And I would be completely I would be actually quite surprised if he does not get bumped next year.
Yeah, that's the best. Yeah, if you want to get bumped, play up and play singles. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah. Any others for you that you think might get bumped to 4-0 in at the conclusion of the 2025 season?
Those are the main ones. I don't know as many 3.5s anymore.
I'm gonna
Uh,
float two more, and
okay.
they have similar games because they certainly had the ability. Blake Watkins and Nikhil
Mhm.
Pasula, both of
Mhm.
whom have massive power. Both of
Mhm.
whom sometimes miss a little bit more than you would like, I'm
Yeah.
sure they would. But they've got the frameworks, they've got the serves, the
Mhm.
forehands, the offense, the athleticism, the fitness, the mental game. They
Mhm.
absolutely have what it takes. I was a little surprised that they did not get bumped. I think in all likelihood they're going to be in that mix next year.
Mhm. Yeah, I would agree. The games are there. And I know Nikhil's been playing a lot more, and Blake plays a lot too. Yeah, just the consistency, like you said. Once they get that down, they'll be good.
There are some egregious non-bumps from
Yeah,
4-0
there
to
are.
4-5. You want to talk
There
about a
are.
couple of them?
Yeah, like I said, Mike, I can't believe it. That was wild. Westlander, and then Visakin was quite surprising.
Woo!
Yeah,
Arguably the number one most sought after player in the triangle for a 4-0 league right now,
yeah,
Vasakin Jayakumar. That was legit, like baffling. I don't know what
yeah.
USTA algorithm is up to, but like it
Mhm,
got that wrong because Vasakin can hang and get wins
mhm,
against basically all the 4-5 guys that I know.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, and then Stewart as well too. That was
Yeah,
surprising because he
yeah.
got some good wins at 4-5 on some of the teams I was on, I believe.
Stewart won the one of the Triangle Grand Slam events. He won the Chapel Hill Tennis Club 4-5 singles. Yeah,
I don't remember. That sounds right
I
though.
think so. Yeah, and him and I would have won Hollow Rock 4-5 in doubles if we hadn't gotten rained. That doesn't
Yeah.
count for points, but just wanted to
Yeah.
state that. Yeah, I feel like I know Stewart's game pretty well because he's a buddy. He's a frequent doubles partner of mine. Was
Mhm.
really surprised to see that. I think that if I was a captain of a 4-0 team, I would be like begging, pleading, coercing, cajoling to try and get Visaka and Mike and Stewart all on one team
Mhm.
because those are two singles locks and one half of a
Yeah.
doubles lock right off the bat.
Yeah. A couple other doubles guy, Aubrey and Jaren, both
Yeah,
really good doubles players. I know Aubrey and I have won a lot of matches when I was a 4-0, and even when I was 4-5, we've won quite a few.
yeah.
And same with Jaren. I know, especially when he's with Jackson, it's still they're always tough when they're together. It just
I,
he brings another level when he's with Jackson.
That's the one nice thing is that now Jackson and Jaren have one more year of 8-5 combo together. And if
Yeah,
you're an 8-5 combo captain, build a team around those two
yeah,
because they bring out the best in each other. They're
hmm
good buddies, and they're also just really fun to watch because they're both like mutant freak athletes in addition to
yeah,
being very good tennis players and good guys.
yeah, yeah. It's always fun to play them.
And
All
I
right,
think,
man.
Matt, I
Is that
think
all we
that's
got?
it for this week.
I think that's all we have.
Is there anything else that you'd like to say before we get out of here?
Just remember, Frozen Assets is coming up, so get some teams ready. If you're not a left-handed person, you might need to get another team. Think about that. I think that's it. We'll be back in a couple of weeks. You're going to be out soon, so
Yeah,
maybe one more episode before you go, and
I
then
think
you'll be out for a while.
Yeah, I think we've got one more episode in calendar year 2024, and then we'll take a
Yeah.
little bit of a break until the spring season kicks off. We'll probably
Mhm.
do either a spring preview or a Frozen Assets
Yeah.
recap. One
Mhm.
thing that I want to say to anybody who's listening this far, if you are listening this far in Matt and I's tennis podcast, you like tennis. You are a
Yeah.
recreational tennis player because otherwise there just is no reason, or you're related to somebody who is.
That's
So,
true.
so tell them if you are a player or if you're related to a player, get on a team now. Do not
Yeah.
wait until
Yeah,
the
don't
end of
wait.
January or February to get on a team because while I'm sure there are many people who would love to have you on your team, on their team,
Mhm.
if they're captaining or if there are spots in their team, they fill up quick. And
Mhm.
the reason is not that it's meant to be or intentionally exclusionary, it's that there's limited court space.
Mhm.
And with limited court space comes a limited number of teams and a
Mhm.
limited number of spots. So don't dilly dally, don't delay. Go out there, text your
Mhm.
buddies, hey, I'm looking for a spot. Text the group, hey, I'm looking to be
Mhm.
on a team because the captains have to register pretty early. Matt, when are you going to lock in your
Uh,
teams for the leagues?
I think you have to register around the new year. The easiest way to get on a team is still to captain a team.
Yeah,
So that's the easiest way to do it is if you get your team in and then you get your name in first, then you'll get the public course. And if you are someone who is a member of a private club, that would be if you make a team that helps if you make a team because that saves space as well.
that's another big ask is if you're a member of a private club and you can have a team based out of there, it does
Hmm.
free up more court space for public
Yeah.
court players. Durham and Eno, Raleigh, Cary, really
Hmm.
lucky to have pretty robust public court tennis scenes.
Hmm.
And that's part of why there's such limited space. So if you're a member of a club and you're starting a team, make sure that's your home court so
Hmm.
there's more spaces, more
Yeah.
matches to be played, and more fun
Hmm.
to be had.
Hmm. Yeah. That's all
All
I
right.
got.
And with that, thanks for listening, everybody.
All right.
Skadoo. All right.